What's going on, guys? Welcome back. You know what time it is and you know what we do here. So let me start off by clearing things up for you. The title is clickbait. Well, sort of. Right now, we're all painfully aware of the A-Life system in Stalker 2 just not being in the game right now. And for all of you who don't know, A-Life is something that was coined to describe persistent AI interactions throughout the world without you, the player, having to be there. This system is arguably one of the main cornerstones of what makes the original Stalker series so special, being that while you were out exploring the zone, AI factions would actually be fighting each other or other mutants, and even being killed, completing entire sequences without you having to interact or be in the area at all. This was not only responsible for making the zone feel alive with distant gunshots and mutant howls, but it would make for the most incredible random encounter situations in single player gaming. You could do things like third-party fights, track an enemy patrol, or even show up somewhere a large fight had occurred without you knowing, scavenging the loot off the bodies of the NPCs who lost, making you ask questions like, were they gunned down by an enemy patrol that is long gone, or have I stepped into a mutant nest where I must fight my way out of the same fate? You get the idea, and you can see why this type of system is such a special thing to have in a single player game. Now, I want to assure everybody this type of thing is promised to be coming to the game by the developers themselves, even though they did in fact remove any mention of A-Life from Stalker 2's Steam page a day before the game's release, rewording it for marketing reasons, and has everyone worried they're going to replace it with a watered down version of the feature that doesn't feel as authentic as the original series. So what's the deal? We want A-Life. Well, it's not that cut and dry. I'd like to address this with a post one of the main modders working on the issue made the other day, and it goes a little something like this. Is A-Life real? Did the developers lie to us? This discussion is stupid because A-Life has always been a smoke and mirrors marketing term for a complex NPC control system together with the dangling bells and whistles of intersecting mechanics. A-Life does not exist in Stalker 2, and in the sense that the system operates so vastly different that trying to use the old A-Life as a mental benchmark is pointless. There's no A-Life in Stalker 2, there's only A-Life 2.0, but even this brings confusing associations with the old system, so I just call the system the AI director, or her. She is the Ardane whose thread weaves the path of those who walk the maze of the zone. She is the seamstress of the fates themselves. Maybe she is the zone herself, for she too is bequeathed with treacherous mysteries in equal parts sublime and confusing. And she is also whatever other and purple figurative you can conjure to string together ideas of feminine mystery and grace and destiny, and strings the divinity simply so you can avoid the exhaustive and mundane topic of attempting the incensed layman why this new encounter system is not a downgrade and why there would be no reason to pine for A-Life 1.0 if only she worked as intended. After that little poem he wrote about the original A-Life system, which is very artistic, and something akin to this system is in the back end of this game, they just haven't implemented it yet, probably because it's just not working or it's very buggy at the moment. The post goes on and says this new AI director is not by any means watered down. In fact, the reason she is such a mess is that the AI system is in fact too fucking convoluted. But rest assured, the director can do all the things you expect out of Stalker. She's able to schedule faction conflicts and turf wars and create the kind of gunfights in the old Stalker games, the ones you hear in the distance and hope to avoid walking into. So it is there, but where is it? I assume they didn't implement it into the game for the time of the release because it probably broke stuff. And I feel like GSC Studios is under a time crunch, being that Microsoft did fund the development of the game, so I really can't blame them for releasing this without this feature, but an important feature it really is. And this is what brings me to what's going on in the modding community. Modders are already hard at work, but modders are hard at it already, and there's a mod currently that aims to address this system specifically. It is available, and I will link it in the description section down below for you to use as you like right now. After testing it for myself for about 6 hours, I want to be clear, this is not A-Life from what I remember it being, but I still have run into some instances of encounters of AI factions fighting each other, which is far better than what I can say for the vanilla version of the game right now. As much of an improvement this mod is, they are still updating it as we speak, and my hopes are that it will only get better from here. I would like to give you a disclaimer though. This mod may cause performance issues, being that spawning AI is CPU heavy, and this game is already CPU intensive as it is. So if you are having performance issues, I would tread this mod with caution. For me, I'm using a 3060 with 32 gigs of RAM, and I'm not having any problems, honestly. In my opinion, I would try this out. Whether you have the Steam version or the Xbox Game Pass version, you could mod either or as long as you're using the PC version of the game. So what does this mod address specifically? specifically? Well, there's certainly a few interesting things that definitely intrigued me when I read the description section of the page. It has a life fix and spawn overhaul. This mod restores the chaotic dynamism of the old Stalker games. It also murders your frame rate so you can enjoy the authentic 30 FPS 2007 Shadow of Chernobyl gameplay experience, which I'm quite used to, so I don't really mind. Plus, like I said, I am getting decent performance out of it, so really I don't mind. It does things like unleashes full potential of online AI. It does things like unleashes full potential of online A-life. Highly mitigates cases of enemies appearing out of thin air right behind you like it does in vanilla, and it refers to that Reddit clip of the military base everyone keeps talking about where the soldier just appears behind a pillar and you can see them and then they just start fighting you out of nowhere. It also gives you a significant extension of A-life range. NPC and NPC interactions can be seen and heard from afar, just like A-life is trying to do. It also says that different enemy AI factions will fight for territory at POIs, which is huge for me. I want the zone to feel alive, being that it seems sensationalized by the stalkers that are intrigued by it. And it ends off here by saying it keeps your legs warm in the winter with performance impacts, being that your system is going to have a fun time trying to process all of this. But how did they fix A-life? Well, he does have a description on how they did it right here on the Nexus page. It says duct tape. The AI director in Stalker 2 is actually very complex internally. However, its function is gimped because of severe bugs and compounding each other. The modder troubleshooted the preset of the bug to the extent of his ability and duct tape a solution to coax a life system into working around its own field of anomalies, so to speak. It goes on and says, I will elaborate more on the specifics of the A-life problems that I discovered in my workarounds. There are a couple of other issues with A-life system that is breaking it and causing not only janky behavior but flat out non-existent A-life simulation. This mod should prevent or at least mitigate abrupt spawns, and it will also deliver the immersive A-life interactions such as NPC firefights, of course. In this mod pack, there are 2 files available. Roadside Panic is the intended setting and is already very heavy on A-life spawns and scenarios. And then there's Roadside Suicide, has the A-life turned up to 11. Caution, this version might lead to a miserable experience and miserable performance too. Both versions also slow day-night cycle by 4 times, being that it's the time cycle the modder actually plays on. Versions with vanilla time are coming tomorrow, although nobody seems to like short vanilla day cycles anyway. And he has a video here showing that multiple sequences are happening at the same time outside of the player's view, which is not currently in the vanilla experience of the game. He goes on and said he's working on optimizing and fine-tuning it, but I decided to release it now since everybody's complaining about A-life. Be wary, if you have been complaining that the zone in Stalker 2 is dead, you might be biting off more than you can chew here, which for me is actually a relief to hear. The current AI director settings are likely over-tuned. I have not had significant time to playtest this yet. Typically, I prefer testing my releases more than I have, but people on Discord really seem to like it and everyone has been talking about A-life being missing, so here you go. He goes on and says, yes, the catch is performance like we said before. This mod will slaughter your frames and already on an unoptimized game. The top of the line CPU is recommended. But like I said, I'm not having too many problems and there are mods for optimization anyway. Maybe they'll help. Let me know in the description section down below what you've been doing and how you've been testing this and what kind of optimizer you recommend for this mod specifically. So guys, that's it for the description section of this mod. Hopefully that sounds interesting to you and you'll try it out for yourself. Like I said, this does feel watered down compared to the OG A-life systems that I've seen in the original series, but at least it's something. At least it's not what vanilla has right now, which feels just really unauthentic, scripted, and even buggy, especially when AI spawns right up your asshole and starts killing you. Just doesn't feel right. And this mod addresses that specifically as well, so it's a huge breath of fresh air. And this is only day 4 of the game being out, so give them time. They are working like crazy. If you join the Gambit's Discord down below, you will see them all in there working together and cooking like mad. So I just appreciate these guys a lot that they're willing to put in this work. All I'm doing is going to release these videos talking to you about what's going on. It ain't hard work, it is simple work, but it is work I hope you appreciate. So guys, if you don't want to miss any future updates, please hit the subscribe button, hit the bell notification, and I'll bring you more updates about Stalker 2 and its modding community in the future. Please hit the like button. It helps me out very much being the small channel that I am. And ladies and gentlemen, have yourselves a very nice day. See you around.